Today on the Scene podcast, we've got someone who's genuinely shaping the future of how marketing and tech collide. Georgie Healy helped launch Google's first AI startup accelerator in ANZ, which basically means she's been sitting front row watching how AI is reshaping founders, teams, storytelling, and the way brands actually grow. She's worked across product, partnerships, community, and comms, and she's one of those people who can explain complex shifts in a way that makes you rethink your whole playbook without frying your brain. If you're a social media manager, strategist, or marketer who's trying to stay ahead of AI instead of being steamrolled by it, this one's loaded. Georgie's got a really sharp read on what's coming, what's actually useful, and what everyone is currently getting wrong. Let's get into it. It's just a conversation today, and it's going to be a wonderful one because we got Georgie Healy on the Scene podcast. And thank you very much for joining us in, is it sunny Sydney today, or is it?
It's not that sunny, but it is
No.
Sydney. Yeah.
So better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, it's not London. It's just like slightly overcast, which is unacceptable.
Yeah, I couldn't cop that if I was living in Sydney. But
How dare they?
I feel like we've been friends on LinkedIn maybe for a couple of years now. I've seen a lot of your content, love getting around your thoughts, and like the posts that you share are so insightful and your experience is amazing too. So this is a real treat for our listeners at home. And you also have a podcast as well that's banging. It started last year, I saw. November?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a 1-year-old now, which is very exciting. Yeah, I it's so funny. The LinkedIn kind of started through the podcast because it's a weekly podcast and I was like, I have to promote this. And the only real way to get to my audience that I see is via LinkedIn. And in the early days, the first 3 to 4 months of the pod, every time I would post, please listen to the show, it would fill me with such dread. Like, I hated it so much. I felt so cringe. I felt so annoying. And I just would force myself to try and not piss people off. Like, that would be the intention of every LinkedIn post. And now I'm like pissing people off all the time and it's fine. But definitely the early days, it was really hard to do that.
When did you get LinkedIn? Was it something that you had to get for a job, or was it like, oh, I'm just going to start one to just see what?
I'd had it years ago, really, I think mostly for jobs, like looking for jobs, applying for jobs.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of the earlier ones on LinkedIn. I mean, I love social media in general. If people are saying like there's people somewhere, I get so much FOMO and I'm like, okay, I'm there. What's happening? What are the kids doing? But I only started kind of using it as a platform to express my thoughts properly in the last couple of years. And definitely in the last year with the pod becoming a thing.
And like building that community, because I've felt the same thing, like building listeners and an audience through LinkedIn, because I felt like Instagram is just, it's littered with so many cool, creative people. And I'm like, I'm going to find it hard to compete in that environment. And especially where I play, it's like knowing your area. So what do you remember like the first couple of posts when you first sort of put yourself out there where you were just like, oh, I'm going to share my thoughts on something?
Oh my gosh, mate. I completely agree with you about Instagram, by the way. Like, and TikTok even more extreme. Like the creativity and even just the structure of how to post. Like, I feel like the barrier is a lot higher. But on LinkedIn, it's like, say something ever so slightly more entertaining or humorous, and it gets so much cut through on LinkedIn. But for me, I forget your question.
The first couple of posts when you were like, what am I gonna say here? Or was it where you felt so passionate about something, you're like, I'm fucking posting this?
No, it was definitely the former, and I spiraled. I had a few friends that I really admire that post a lot. Gemma Clancy, Will Richards. I pinged them and I was like, if I post every week, will people fucking hate me? And they were like, dude, you could post 3-4 times a week. People won't even see it half the time. And I was like, just praying that that was true. And so I was focusing on, can it be interesting? Can I share a fact that people might not know? Can I add a little bit of humor in? And it was purely just to be like, I have to share this because I've got a podcast out. I need people to be aware of it. But how can I make it as value add as physically possible? And that's kind of how I approached it.
I love that. And these days, like with AI over the last couple of years, like, well, I remember at first having LinkedIn and having to actually think about your posts and structure it up and do every little thing. And now with a different tool, it's like, okay, we can now expand on thoughts, make them maybe clearer. How have you seen people? Because I remember a few years ago, it was like there was 1% of people on LinkedIn actually creating stuff. And now I think it's going up way more because it's much easier to put stuff out there now. But sort of, yeah. What's your experience been seeing all that happening?
When people are viewing this, because your face of ick was exactly how I feel about the AI slop that people write, right? Um, Despite me like building my entire brand around AI, I never use AI to write posts. Ever. Like ever. And I think that's actually the biggest hack because it's just the same formula every time, no matter how creative you try and be. Even if you rewrite a post using AI, it will put it back in that formula again. And look, maybe I don't get as much, like maybe there is something to if you do this spicy headline and then you've got content and it's in dot points, maybe that is easier for readability, but it just doesn't get the cut through. And I just don't want that associated with me and inauthentic styles. Um, but what I don't know that you, Lachlan, if you've noticed this in the last few years, that like it's really more about having a voice that is your own voice that gets cut through as opposed to what exactly you're writing. Like if it seems like you, I feel like I'm like, I just like you as a person and rate you as a person. So it doesn't really matter what you write at this point. I'm probably going to enjoy it.
Well, 100%. And I feel you the same way about my own work because I do love myself sick. No, I'm just kidding. But I do think like, uh, like I've figured out what I like to do in terms of what I think, like how I use social media and how I've always sort of broadcasted. Like back in MySpace, it was just short stuff. I used to do Facebook statuses nearly every day, and it was just random shit that I thought was funny or that was me. And I just thought, let's just continue that rather than try so hard. But like with informative pieces like this podcast and promoting it, I want to make sure that people understand what's in it, but as well as get my, authenticity and my flavor as well. But yeah, I think like it was just sort of finding my voice was like, I don't have to be like everyone else. I can be real short. I don't have to have videos. I don't have to have what other people have.
I've got to ask you, I was having this thought the other day, and there's not many people I can ask around this. Do you feel like we're getting back to a bit of the MySpace era? Because right? Like, now we can have music on our like Instagram page, and like there's something about vibe coding where you can like customize things more. I'm like, did I just create a personal website that kind of looks like my old MySpace? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you noticing that it's getting like more personal again?
It's crazy. And just like n reflecting back, it's like I had all these different layouts that I would code for MySpace, for my page. Like my Facebook, my MySpace page was a fucking train that would go around and it'd hit a stop and it'd open up into something. I'd have the profile song underneath the layout so people couldn't turn it off. So
My gosh.
I was really annoyed. I was like just trying,
Hell yeah.
you know what I mean? Like really into it. And then I don't know what happened, but it just sort of stopped. And I think when Facebook came, it was like you didn't
Oh,
have
it's
to
like
do it.
it's a clean girl aesthetic now. Yeah, I know. And I feel like people are over clean girl now. I think people are like, show me your personality. I'm obsessed with the fact you did that. I wasn't as clever as you with that, but I definitely got unique fonts that I needed to code in the background. And my songs, when you'd open my page, were always hardcore metal. Hardcore. So that when you open the page, it would scream at you. And I was like, haha, suckers.
I love that. I love that. That's how you make an impression. And
Right.
the top friends, like I just remember
Oh my gosh.
a lot of time spent on that. Hey, who's making the top 4? Who's not talking to me this week? Bang, you drop.
Straight up, I'd have like some situationship in there that would like go from 7th to gone to 7th to gone.
It's crazy how like even MSN, like I remember just jumping on straight after school, and it's like the connection like around like being online and having an identity online too, you know, like it's for some people they're a lot different than they are in
What
real
font
life.
did you use on MSN? Did you change stuff or were you consistent?
No, I think I was pretty basic, to be honest. I think I just tried to be cool, smooth, and minimal. So there wasn't too much going on for me. But my old email address was bellytalent91, which is like a band back in the day. So I tried to be a bit edgy there. And
I'm not telling you my Hotmail email, it was too cringe. But my aesthetic for my MSN font never changed. All lowercase, that tells you I'm a real one, and pink. Because I'm like, I'm girly, but I'm also
edgy.
edgy.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of thought goes into the font. Like, there's a lot.
It is. I used to use, I still use every now and then, Dafont. Have you used that before? DAFONT.com. So you can go through there and it's just got like, you can spend literally like days just looking through all the different fonts. You can download them and just whack them into your browser.
Oh, I'm doing that to my website. Okay.
Have a
That's
squeeze at that.
iconic. Yeah.
All right. So what you said earlier was interesting. So you don't use AI to write. What do you use AI for?
Literally everything else. But for me, it's like a daily, like, smart mate. Like, honestly, I use it for, um, we were talking about before recording how ill with the flu I was. My husband is away, and I was bedridden in fetal position for a good 4 days. And like the back and forth, how annoying this would be for any loved one or friend for me to be like, but that last cough was a dry cough. And like just having like a friend talk you through, well, maybe some hydrolyte and da da da, honestly got me through mentally. I use it for like, business ideas. If I go after this monetization strategy versus this one, that kind of thing, but also just like fun, creative projects. Like I used AI the other day. There's a song that I'm obsessed with by Black Rebel Motorcycle Club called Promise. There is no sheet music for it. I will never find sheet music for it. Get the YouTube link, put it into this AI songscript.com thing, and it crafts the sheet music for me. I use it for everything, dude. It's like, it's a real powerful tool.
It's funny, like I've noticed now, even going to like see family and stuff, like if anyone's got a problem that we're talking about or something, it's straight onto, who's got the pro version? Me. All right, let's go and let's talk about it. And I think people think about AI as like disconnection, but I think it can connect people because it gives people maybe better ideas or different perspectives on things, and they can actually add more to the story rather than feel like they don't know anything,
I completely agree. And I think it's just, it raises the floor, right? Like you're a social media expert, right? I would go to you with social media questions, but I would like to be semi-educated prior to having that chat, to not waste your time, to ask more informed questions. Same with medical stuff, same with like literally anything. I would like to educate myself up a little bit first before reaching out to someone. Like, I know people in finance that are super clever around business ideas and things like that. I still want to educate myself a bit before doing that. And I think that AI is a really good democratizer in that way.
What about like thinking for yourself? Like when does that sort of, because I'm starting to see now that I'm just going straight to ChatGPT, and it's like, well, hang on, I haven't even thought about what I think first. And it's like, what can I put in place to really make sure that I'm not becoming like a robot,
It's such a fair thing, and a lot of people are talking about this, right? Like, a lot of people are saying, "Remember, like, thinking?"
That was hard.
Remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
And it is like it's a very fair pushback, like with the business ideas that I'm telling you about. Before I've even like thought of what I want to do with my life, I'm like, what do you think I should do with my life? And that's a risk. I've heard this concept recently called Black Forest. Have you heard of this?
No. The chocolate's good though.
Ooh, okay. Both might be great had at the same time.
Yeah.
Black Forest is where you literally go completely offline, like no phone, no screen, nothing. It's just a great marketing term, but I like it. And I feel like more people are gravitating towards that as well. So for me, this is going to be my hack for 2026 is can you have a Black Forest day? And if not a full day, maybe a half day or maybe 2 half days. And I am just going to have nothing in that time so that I am left with my own thoughts, like have to be left with my own thoughts. And that's kind of going to be where I get my creative thinking back in again.
I love that because I think some of the best threads that I've had with chat is been when I've felt inspired or I've had that time and then come and spewed out everything in there. And it's just like, it feels like, I don't know, I'm dumping all the documents in my life. I'm dumping everything in there. And I'm like, is it risky putting every part of my life
Oh my
into it?
gosh. Okay, we need to talk about this. So there is like part of me. Okay, on social media, for example, I am so happy putting my whole self out there. Like, just no shame. But there are other people in my life that don't like that and don't want that and don't feel comfortable with that. And that's totally fine. I feel like that around social media too, where, yeah, I'm totally fine with like if this ever got leaked being on the front page, the AFR, Georgina Healy doesn't know what to do with her life in 2026. I'm kind of like, yeah, fair. That's probably fair. Not everyone wants that though, and I do think everyone should have a deep thought about if this was to be leaked and be on the front page, would you be chill with it? And images, like are you happy putting images of your kids into an LLM? That's somewhere where I do say, maybe no. Maybe no. Um, Definitely don't put work documents on there that are not your own and that kind of thing. But for the majority of cases, I am kind of like, yeah, like, that meme of Obama's listening? I'm
Yep.
like, cool, Obama can listen to this. I'm chill.
I'm always torn in my head. I'm like, yeah, like everyone's already heard everything or seen everything I've done anyway. So it's like, whatever. But then I'm like, there's surely no one interested in me enough where they're just looking at every little thing that I'm doing. But if something happened, they've got a mountain of evidence. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
there's everything, you know what I mean? And even like
Yeah.
starting businesses, like putting ideas, new ideas that haven't been done into
Yeah.
threads, does that jump into other people's stuff? You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially for things that are competitive, right? That
Yeah.
I'm sure like we both have podcasts. I'm sure, I would love to see Diary of a CEO's strategy on content. Leak that shit. Like I'd love to see that. Um yeah, so there's definitely things where it's like you are training the LLMs with the stuff you put in there. Some of it I'm okay with it, some of it I'm not. But for the most part, I would say to people that are on the fence, you're better off using the LLM than not. Like if you're not using it daily, you are behind. And you don't want to get behind with this technology, I would say.
So in terms of like safety and security, is it still sort of up in the air at the moment around just like what's kind of because I feel like there's no visibility or
Yeah.
it's buried so low that it's like it's so hard to find out what's actually things are getting used for and stuff, you know?
Yeah, and like unfortunately, I think yeah, security wise, we should be relatively concerned. My conspiracy theory around ChatGPT in particular and OpenAI is, they have not figured out a way to be profitable, and they are going to try and figure out a way to be profitable, and it's probably not going to be ads. So what is it going to be? And, we probably are the product, we are feeding it with information. They're probably going to sell that information. That's why it's only $30 a month and not $300 a month. But like, yeah, you've got to be aware of that. And they haven't figured it out yet. And they're not being like, the government hasn't got a plan either for that. So yeah.
I'm starting to think like we'll be getting sold ads in our dreams and stuff, but it's like, but is this just our version of like, you remember like when in school they were like, you'll never have a calculator in your pocket, and it's like, we've got phones, so yeah.
Straight up have a calculator in our pocket. Yeah.
So it's like, what is like, are we getting chips? Is that the thing? I don't know. Scary.
It is scary. And I'm a little bit scared in another way, which is how does Australia compete in the future? Like, we're not going to compete on foundational LLMs. Like, we're just not. China and America will be at the front. We're not, like, even if we wanted to, we couldn't get there. And in this world of AI, where we're very risk adverse for good reasons and bad, we can't compete on foundational models. Ethical AI is great. Like, we're really good at ethics and regulation in Australia. You can't really make money out of that. So I'm a little bit more worried about us as a nation, how we're going to keep up in this very technically driven future era that we're getting in. I know I've got my like tinfoil hat on now, but that is where I'm thinking.
Well, isn't Elon saying stuff like in like a few years, like work will just be like if you want to kind of thing? And it's like, that is, to me, it's like meaning, identity, it's like opportunity, like the risk of life. It's like, what now? It's just going to be like, it's
Elon says a lot of shit though. He says a lot of
yeah.
shit. Like, he said that we would all be in autonomous vehicles like a decade ago. He says a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I'm less worried about us not having jobs. Like, I think they will be disrupted and they will look different, but I think we're going to be good on jobs personally.
Yeah. What do you see in the marketing world now with AI? Like, you've seen heaps of case studies and stuff. Like, what are some of the good things that marketers are doing in the AI space that you've seen where it's like, that's what it's about,
Yeah, I think with the amount of data you can ingest now and therefore get really clear insights from a large quantity of data is incredible. So, for example, and I'm not sure if this is marketing or brand or where you delineate, but NotebookLM, right? You can chuck hundreds of YouTube videos, websites, articles, PDFs, smush them all together and ask questions. What are the key insights? What are the key quotes? This is a specific theme I'm interested in drawing down upon. Through AI, you can just do that and have the most detailed and clear insights with quotes, with references, who said it, when they said it. That is a game changer. That is a game changer. Could you imagine trawling through websites in the past? Your ceiling was just how much time you could dedicate to doing that. Whereas now it's not about time anymore. It's about just using the right tool, and you can do that.
And optimizing, like, how do you get better at AI? Is it just by using it and just seeing for yourself, or is it like for you, like if you want to get better answers or things like that, do you have go-to prompts that you have or that you learn, or is it just sort of, how do you operate?
Some people do, still talk about like, I've got these great prompts. Download my PDF to get all the best prompts. I think that stuff is dead now. I think the LLMs are so smart now that with very little context, it knows what you're asking, right? Like, I very seldom have to be like, no, that's not what I meant. Very seldom. And even if I do, it's like, oh, now I've got it. Cool. I think like if you break down AI literacy into 3 tiers, beginning, intermediate, and advanced, if you're using an LLM daily, you're a beginner, you're past the beginner, you're like beginner to intermediate, and you're doing really well. Like, be really proud of yourself because you're doing better than 60% of people. A lot of people are not using it at all. So if you're using ChatGPT every time you like got a problem like we talked about before, great, amazing. I would then challenge you over the holidays or whatever to try and get to that intermediate level. Now, it could be deeper insights on those LLMs. So if you click like in ChatGPT, there's the plus symbol. Are you using voice mode? Have you tried video mode? Have you used deep research? Like, it could be the most random topic. It could be like, I really am into birds of Australia and I'm visiting Queensland and I want a report on all the birds I could see and where I could find them. Whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter. Do the deep research function on a topic. Just play with all those little tools that you might not be using. Or use NotebookLM for the first time. Or do image generation a little bit more with your family. And, you know, my daughter's into mermaids. I made her a mermaid on Gemini, like Nano Banana. Then you're doing better than like 90% of the population. Amazing. Final frontier for the holidays, if you do that and really enjoy it, Vibe Code. Vibe Code. It is the best. It is fun. It is really going to push your creative thinking as well as your actual use of the tool, because this is where shit falls down. This is where you're like giving it a prompt and it didn't do what you wanted, and you got to start being like, oh, how do I get it to do what I want? And you've probably got a half screen with like ChatGPT in the side being like, Lovable didn't do what I wanted it to do. This is what I want it to do. Now you're really not only improving your life, because that vibe coded website is going to be way better than any template that you could use, but it's also like really pushing your AI proficiency.
Oh,
You tried any of those?
yeah, honestly, it's so funny. Like the first, I think the first couple of months, my mind was just blown by what was possible. But then it felt like a few years behind, like it couldn't give the most up-to-date information. So I was like, okay, just stuffing around and sort of seeing in history and just sort of using it for like when you first used the internet, you know, like
Yes.
Amazon was a bookstore. It was weird. It was like you didn't think TikTok could exist in 1990. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So it was like, but I love, it's like a phone, yeah? It's when you go to the shop, it's like, oh, I'll just get the upgrade, whatever. You don't look at all the features and then all of a sudden you're seeing people take these sick photos and you're like, how do you do that? And it's like, yeah, it's just that little, you just got to look in your settings, man. And it's like
Yes.
spending time, like I love the voice. Like I use voice for everything. I've got ChatGPT Atlas as my main browser now, but like I'm trying to optimize like and automate different parts of my life where it's like, but at the moment now, it's just like gives me notifications and stuff when I've got tasks and things. But it's like, I think the next step for me will just unlock so much more when I understand fully how to like set those triggers up, you know, where it's like, that just does that for me, you know?
Agree. And I don't know about you, but I think part of the reason it's so hard is the marketing jargon and the fear around like, wait, are you using a cool tool that I don't know about? A lot of the value add is just in the LLMs, and that's not sexy or cool to be like, dude, I use ChatGPT 90% of the time. That's 90% of actual value add. You haven't created an agent to completely run your life? Nobody has. Anyone that says they have, like, I'm sorry, they're lying. Like, they might have built an agent. It might be semi-useful. I think 99% of the time, the real wins are from the tried and true LLMs that are massive and big and have a lot of data and can do a lot of valuable stuff. Play with the other tools, but don't feel like you have to actually be using AI well.
I think
You know?
I've seen a few good ones with on the phone calls, like people like real estate agents or people who work in telecoms where they can like divert and sort of have those. And it's like, I can still kind of tell that there's a little, it doesn't feel as like, but it makes sort of room for those improper, you know, like those happenstance sort of things. So I'm like, that's kind of
We've done
reason.
studies, right, where they're like, people do prefer a chatbot. They actually do. Like, a good quality chatbot
Yeah.
is better than being on call waiting forever, is better than language barriers, is better than being referred to another person, then another person, another person. I think it will be incredible when AI can work as an assistant. I just think, like, is that a real agent experience or is that just AI prompted, like,
Yeah.
voice mode? Um, but, in the agent space, I do think payments will be really interesting in 2026. Apparently, bots will do a lot of transactional stuff, and that will make things a lot easier for everyday folks, I think.
What about like, I'm starting to think now, like marketing to agents, it's like, that's crazy. It's like, well, there's going to be agents that are going to want to, how do we fucking optimize this, and then how do we use our agent to talk to their agent? Like, that's how I'm sort of seeing it in my head. I'm like, because like showing up in LLMs, when people like use it for Google, like that's gold. Like we're starting to
Yeah.
see with Sked, like we're involved in the top 3 or 4 competitors in the world. And it's like we're grouped into those things, So it's like that's how do we do more of that? But it's like I don't know, you know.
Yeah, it's really democratizing the ability to play in those areas because even things like SEO, like, is dead now, right? Like, there's no need for SEO. I don't know the answer to how to play there. You can tell me when you figure it out, which you definitely will. Um, but what I'm noticing as well is like, and I'm sure you know this as well, but on TikTok, right? In the past, it used to be about your followers, and that would be like how you get eyes and awareness. And now it's about, no, if you could create a viral video tomorrow and have no followers, right? I think AI will be like that. Like, if you can use the tool effectively, you can have so much more cut through than a tried and true brand. And there's someone in San Diego that I met and had on the pod recently. She's got no technical background, zero, worked for her family's business, started entering a few hackathons, like as a vibe coder, and kept winning them. Like, she kept winning them because she's, I think, got a marketing brain, right? And she'd do the funniest, most hilarious like projects. Startup obituary. And it'd be like a website where you can enter your startup that died and it's got like a cemetery for your startup and stuff. That's winning shit because it's interesting and cool, and she'd beat all the software engineers at vibe coding, and she's quit her day job and that's what she does full time, and that's what's getting cut through. So it's kind of cool, right?
It's crazy because it's like I think half the people are scared and half the people are excited. And I think the ones who are excited are the creative ones are like, I've got this sick new tool that can do like for me, I love like creating things and having this as an option to just do stuff. It's like that's made my brain turn into something I never thought it ever could or wanted to,
That, and it's why it kind of reminds me of MySpace, and like the real creative kids are the ones that were coding. Like,
Yeah.
you were coding, not because you're like, I want to be a software engineer, but because you're like, nah, I want to like fuck with
I'm,
people. You can't turn my song off. Fuck you.
yeah, I'm very vain and I want the attention. If it's about me, I'll put in the work. I'll put in the work.
Straight up. I want to have the coolest website, and if I have to be an engineer to do it,
Yeah, which is exactly. But what do you think are the skills that will go? You probably get asked this question a million times every day, but like, yeah, are there any like besides the obvious? Are there any ones that are just like that won't exist or won't? Or it'll look very different.
I mean, like, I don't want anyone to lose their jobs, like, just to be really clear, but already this has happened and is happening and will continue to happen more and more. And it's funny, it's the degrees that I would have killed to get into. I really would have loved this top score to get into law. Why would you need to read tons of textbooks on law and have that in your brain now when you could, like, to my point earlier, just ingest all the data and have references and blah, blah, blah. You still need complex thinking as a judge, as a lawyer, but that degree is going to be completely disrupted, like, completely.
So we could get better people because they might not have had the opportunity because of that density of like I don't learn that way, but
Memorization.
I'm super, yeah, but I'm super empathetic and I feel like I'll be really, you know what I mean? It's like they could be the
Straight.
best judge, but they didn't do it because they don't memorize it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Not academic at high school, but actually the best judge. Yeah, completely agree with you. There's other things like radiologists. Unfortunately, you know, Google just had Gemini 3 come out a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. In the past, you would have needed 3 or 4 years training to be able to analyze X-rays, right? To see anomalies. AI does that way better than a human now. The Gemini 3 model does that better than any human now. You've probably heard of Harrison AI, the startup in Australia. They detect cancers in X-rays before the blood test. Like, it's crazy what AI can do in great ways. But if you think that those traditional jobs are just going to stay around when AI can do it better, it doesn't make sense, does it?
no. And then how do you sort of think about your future if you're in an industry where you think this is going to change drastically or look a lot different? Like, how do you best equip yourself to make yourself feel a bit more secure? Like, what should you be learning? Or is it what you said earlier? It's like treating LLMs like your phone and using the features and just understanding it.
I think it's a lot that, right? Like, I think the more you're embracing the technology, even if, like, my job could be disrupted at any point, but if I'm ahead of the technology, at least I feel a little bit more nimble and adaptive to change, and my brain is working in a way where it's being challenged through this very fast moving time in general. You're just in a better position. I think also just being aware of the fact that nobody knows what's coming exactly. And no one can really be like, that is the most defendable job in the world. We don't know. We don't know. Maybe. And so what I'm leaning into personally, and of course I would say this because um, it's something that I'm naturally good at the moment, is brand and personality, because that is something that's signature to me as a human being. If you want Georgie Healy, you're going to get this vibe. She's a personality, I tell ya. Maybe not for everyone, but that is something that, yeah, like, you don't really pick it up in uni or school. And I think you're the same, right? Like, I could partner with anyone, but I choose you because I like your vibe, you know?
And it's funny now, like with the buzzword being authenticity, I think we all love it. And it is more powerful than love, the feeling of love when you feel someone is just being 100% themselves. And I remember first starting a podcast and having people message me in the DM saying, "Oh, I don't like you swearing," or "I don't like your thing." And I was like talking to people at that time and we're just having the comment. I was like, do you have to change and pander and things? It's like, I couldn't do this if I couldn't be myself because it's too hard, like when you're doing something real personal, like putting yourself out there so much.
Yeah, I'm curious to know for you, like, did you become more authentic because you just knew that that's what worked? Or did you stay authentic because, um, like, you tried to adapt and, like, for whatever reason that went frictiony for you?
I found like I was coming into business, I never felt smart enough or anything like that. I didn't go to school to study anything where I felt like I deserved this world that I'm in. So it was like feeling like a bit of an outsider. And it's like, all right, now that I'm at this stage, do I become a bit safer and become a bit trying to just, because you're so desperate to just stay in? So it's like,
Yeah.
how do you still stay, involved and it's like, no, I lean sort of harder and die on the hill that you think. And it's like, it's kind of like friends in high school. I don't know. For me, it just sort of happens. The environment's there. It's like that's how I've sort of had the best things happen in my life. So it's kind of like that blind faith of like, I don't know. It's just it's too hard to just fake it. Like to put the mask on to yeah, I don't know. You've probably felt the same way. Yeah, I'm sure. We
Yeah, I feel
yeah.
like I feel like you probably did a better job than me. I definitely did people please, and, like, there's been certain scenarios, like when I lived in London, where I was like, I'm a lot, and I've only realized this because of the way you're acting when I speak to you.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And so I'd be like, oh, do I need to tone it down? Like, I've definitely tried to adapt to my environment, and like you, like, I've been in, like, tech and finance industry, and for a year there I was in banking, and I was like, whoa, I need to fully change myself to fit into this environment. And guess what? Like, one, you can't, and two, you'll just be really a bad version of like what they're going for anyway. And it kind of taught me through that. Oh, I'm just going to go harder into what I'm actually good at, and people will love it or hate it. But the more I leaned into that, it's funny, that is when my growth happened and when I got more opportunities. So I do recommend doing that path instead.
And I think the really good ones can sort of adapt, like they can be themselves, but maybe to adapt to their environment a bit. You know what I mean? In like a mature way, where it's not like, of course, you're not going to go on and just do dumb stuff. You know, like you're not going to go on national TV and say, "Fuck this," and you know what I mean? It's like, of course not. But it's just like there's different versions of the same thing. You know?
Yeah, I would love to know for you what you think your best trait is, because for me, I think I am at my best when I'm loose and like not gripping too tight on the outcome, and that's when my humor comes out. That's when my brain can flow properly. What about you? I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like as much as I do this sort of stuff all the time, I still sometimes feel like I get a bit of a phone voice, you know, or like a,
Oh, what is your phone voice?
it's just super not chill. You know, like I feel like I'm a bit of a mess. I try to be articulate, and then I'm like thinking about words before I say them. I'm like, what
Yeah, that's tough.
on? And
Yeah, no, that's really hard. That's
yeah,
really hard.
and I found like doing like stuff with someone else makes me so much more relaxed because I play off the person who I feel comfortable with. And but if it's me solo, I'm like I have like a nervous breakdown. I don't know. I heard this saying throughout the week. It was like, you're not an introvert, you're not an extrovert. It's like you're like both, you know. And I'm like, I do definitely get energy from people, but like the right people. And I'm like, yeah, sometimes I don't get the best out of myself because I don't put myself out there enough, or I fumble, or I think about it too much, you know. And it's like, I don't know. That's why I think chemistry is so important, you know, with anything, good thing, especially like podcasts and distribution and building stuff in public, like having that person to actually help you. And like when we started the Funny Business podcast, it was all during COVID, so it wasn't in person. And I remember, I think it was like the 70th episode or something that we did was in person, the first one. And I was like, do I look in his fucking eyes or no, I don't hate, you know? I'm like, it feels like I'm like online. I could feel like we were wearing a mask, you know, like I could really, I was in my bedroom, you know, talking to all these people. I'm like super cruisy, super easy, but you get on a stage or you get on something else and it's like, oh, this is different.
It's like, you know, the classic, like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, you're like, what do I do with my hands?
Yeah. I feel that all the time. All the time.
I only ask because fucking love your work, love everything you do. And it is very easy, especially on socials, to be like, well, he's an actual. He clearly knows exactly how to do it 100% of the time, never feels insecure. Like, it's good to kind of unpack, like, if you feel icky when you write a LinkedIn post, same. Been there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like it might look like I'm fucking loving it and, you know, YOLO, but actually no, it's like still hard. Like it's not easy. You just got to do it anyway.
I love that. And I love your story, honestly. Like, pumped for everything that you're doing and will continue to do. But, you know, like you've spoken to lots of interesting people in this space. Is there anyone's perspective where you've been like, changed yours, where you've just been like, oh, that was crazy. I never really thought about it that way, or yeah, anything that stands out?
Oh, like I like to have guests that are impressive, like I won't lie. Like if they've built an huge business or they've got like a PhD in computer science before AI was even cool, it's such a privilege to interview anyone, regardless of what they even say. I'm like, I'm just fascinated by you as a person. But one that will stand out, I will say, is Frank Grief. He's also got a podcast, he's also got a big personality online. And he was really lovely. He did not need to come on my show that had like no followers at the time and all the rest of it. He was really lovely. But he has made $180 million. And he is starting from scratch, grinding it out. VCs are not backing him. He has to grow a team from scratch. No one's believing in the vision. He wants it to be an AI company. And he is just sharing that. Now, I guess he's got money, so he's like, fuck you, I could do it anyway. But I really loved the authenticity and the drive. Like, like if I had $180 million, I might not have that drive again. And I'm not sure that's a good thing, but like, I just found that really fascinating and really cool. I thought he was really cool.
I love people like that who just they don't care, and it sort of
Yeah.
just shows that it's like, and that's what I think the belief, like someone who's driven like that, that is a fucking big signal to me around what it doesn't matter what happens, this person's going to make something happen, like the way that they carry themselves. And I think once you've hit a home run like that and you've got that money in the bank, like being able to have that confidence, I think it's important to lead the way though and show people because that inspires other people to just be like, I don't have to do it. Like, just because all these people said no to me doesn't mean it's a shit idea.
Exactly, exactly, and it's not like, well, 2 things I really love about it. One is that he just loves the fucking journey. So you and I might be like, "Fuck, I wanna get to 180 mil, then I'm good." But that tells me, like, no, he didn't feel finished at all. He's like, "No, what else can we do? What else can we build? Let's stay in that messy part." I found that really motivating, and I also found it motivating in terms of, like, what else can you build? Like, okay, you smashed real estate. That's awesome. What else is out there that I can solve and challenge myself in? I just find that cool.
Oh, I'm with you too, though. Like, I don't know if I'd be like that because if I hit a home run, I think I'd be down the beach. But I do love the journey. And it's like, I think when you're good at stuff, I'm addicted to like, I want another win or I want another,
Yeah.
like you're addicted to the next of like, but
Well, you're a golf player, right? So you
I do.
feel this deeply of like you're not going to get perfection ever. So what are you doing?
Well,
you smashing your head against the wall repeatedly. It's like no offense, I'm sure you're great
yeah,
at
no,
it,
it
but
is.
like
No, I'm not. It's a game of decisions. And I think like the less decisions that you have makes it a bit easier. So I think golf you can get in your head a lot, and I think business you can get in your head a lot. But when you really like what I've found has helped me heaps is just like have limit the options because then the regret even afterwards it's like I didn't even think. You know what I mean? That wasn't on the table, so it's not like because I think it can just get messy, can't it? With just overthinking and overanalyzing and when to actually push play and when to actually get going. It's like I feel like there's never no perfect time to start, but it's just
I love that you say that because this is the like next year is when I've quit my day job and I'm going to try and build something from scratch. But it's not the first time. And the last time I did exactly what you just said. I got so overwhelmed. What's the 5 year? What's the 10 year? How do I make it VC backable? What's the pricing strategy? Blah. Like go to market, unit economics. Freaked myself out. I became an absolute asshole. Like I just spun the fuck out. My biggest goal for next year is to not spin the fuck out and literally enjoy the journey and genuinely not try and make money and just see what happens in the first 6 months. Like deliberately stop thinking about money. Because I think as soon as you do that, I don't know, for me personally, I feel like it takes all the things I'm good at out of it.
and I've never been a part of anything where we've been thinking about money and it's ended up that way. It's been about we've created something sick or we've done a sick
Yeah.
campaign and the result is lots of money because we fucking love what we did. It's like
Yeah.
people who banging videos, you can tell because they really care about they put so much effort into the thing. And even if they're not as big as other people, I love like smaller brands and stuff even more because it's like
Yes.
they don't get all the attention and stuff that all these big ones do, but they love it anyway. They put so much time and effort into it. Like musicians and stuff that what my favorite musician, he's not big at all, but he puts so much time and effort into his art where it's like there's stuff every year and I love it all. And I'm like, I can't believe this guy does this. Like he's dedicated his life to doing this. And I'm like, that's sick to me?
I couldn't agree more. And I know I said a lot about like it's hard to post on LinkedIn, you'll get freaked out. There's no way I would do it if I didn't love it. And I think you could tell people that are on the socials that are like, they're just enjoying it. Like, and they might get 4 likes. Like, the number of times I got like no likes, and I'm like, here's another one.
Yeah.
here's another one, guys.
Yeah.
Like to like my mum. Like,
Yeah.
but you're just loving it and you can tell.
It's just, yeah, I don't know. This has been an awesome chat. Seriously, like, I feel like we're gonna have to get you on again. I reckon maybe next year. I can't believe it's what, December now. This is crazy. But yeah, no, this has been real. Honestly, so sick to chat. If people want to find out about your stuff, where do they go? Your LinkedIn.
Well, I vibe coded a website that I have not shared to anyone yet, so you get an exclusive. www.georgiehealy.com. It's got weird buttons that have rainbows that go around it. It's very MySpace. Um, Roast that because I would love feedback. Genuinely roast it though. And honestly, like I'm an Instagram girl that's only popular on LinkedIn. So if either of those suit you, like hit me up there. Honestly, Lockie, you are like the goal and I just love everything you do. So thank you so much for having me.
No, my head's big enough. I don't know how I can take that. But thanks, Georgie. Thank you.